So for all of you guys who don't know, Blizzard kind of just released 7.3.2 on Tuesday the 24th in the US. I think it was 25th in EU, Wednesday, and they didn't really say a word. It's kind of sad that I ever have to start a video with, for those of you who don't know, a patch came out today. Because usually most people know, but they didn't say a word and the patch notes are kind of hidden, so I thought I'd make a video kind of going over what exactly changed, and also just confirming that this is 7.3.2 for anyone who's not aware. This is the new patch. No new raids in 7.3.15, but there are some minor changes. So the first couple changes are just like general bug fixes, not going to go into any of those. They added some currencies for people that are outside of the US to the Battle.net buying, or Battle.net shop or whatever, like they added Canadian money and stuff. I'm not exactly sure the extent of that. And then they did some random stuff in Taurus. It doesn't actually matter yet, so I will not talk about that. So there were two class changes, nothing relevant really, but both Balanced Druid and Elemental Shaman had their healing traits redesigned to, instead of having each point decrease the cooldown or increase the proc rate or whatever, it now increases the amount of healing. So for example, at 4 stacks of the Shamanistic healing trait, myself at like 935 eye level, it heals for 1.1 million now. But it no longer decreases the cooldown, but I still think this is 10 times more useful because, I mean, does a 200k heal really mean anything at 15 seconds, more than 30 seconds? It's not really going to do anything. And a 1.1 million heal is actually really powerful for things like Sisters and fights like that, where you're getting low. It's a nice little heal, so I'm glad they did that. It's still not the best trait in the world, but it's not useless anymore. There were a couple changes to class hall missions, not really going to get into that. There was a Primal Sargarite vendor added to the Vindicar. Don't even know what that means, honestly. I don't play the game. Apparently. I don't actually do anything but raid. So now to the, in my opinion, important changes. The big ones. The ones that will really affect a lot of classes. The item changes. So first off, Convergence of Fate now reduces the remaining cooldown on one of your powerful abilities by 4 seconds. Well, it's 5 seconds. And has 10% more primary stats. So this is actually not that big of a nerf. It is a pretty decent nerf, but it's not like huge or anything. And then Whispers in the Dark cast speed bonus reduced by 40%, and now has 20% more primary stat. Whispers in the Dark is actually still not that bad, but like the nerf looks really bad, of course. But it's not horrible. Like, it's actually kind of on par with its eye level now. Still though, like if you're currently using Whispers, I definitely recommend simming yourself to see like your alternatives or whatever. Just logging onto the game here to check it out. So this used to be, oh, that's not Whispers. This used to be like 43%, now it's 26%. So that's a pretty big nerf, but it does have 27 intellect, or 2700 intellect rather, which is pretty much on par with my 930 Charm of the Rising Tide. It does not, it now sims lower for me than an 860 Arcana Crystal, which is kind of depressing. But again, for anyone who has Whispers, it's not horrible, but if you have trinkets that are higher eye level than it, like Tomb of Sargeras trinkets, it's probably better now. Again, I recommend simming to find out. Same thing with Convergence of Fate. I don't actually know much about melee, but simming is always the answer. And also, for the early shamans, the sim charts, there we go, on Storm with the Lava have actually already been updated. Blood Mallet has been hard at work getting the stuff updated to have Whispers properly represented on that. So if you want to check that out, you can check that out. And I imagine his website for all the classes will be updated within the next week or so to represent all the specs for Convergence of Fate and Whispers as well. There were a couple more changes that I'll just quickly go over because they aren't really that important. So for one thing, a number of class set items from legacy content can now be sold to vendors. You no longer have to lead it. It's convenient. Legion Companion app restored the mission complete button on the map. Don't have the app, don't know what that means. And they updated support for the new patch. And then there were some PvP changes that were basically just, I think it's just basically updating for the new season. Let me actually read this real quick. Okay, I was wrong. It's actually, they're adding vendors to purchase the special like weapon enchants, the cool looking ones, for players who earned it at the time but never actually got it. So if you got Duelist or Hero of the Alliance in season 14 or 15, you can get the Glorious Tyranny. And if you got Duelist or Hero of the Alliance, or higher probably, in Warlord Season 1, 2, and 3, you can now get the Primal Victory illusions. That's what they're called. They're like the enchant-looking things. I think that the blood red ones. I'm not entirely sure, but that's pretty cool. And people have been asking for that for a while. So if you happen to be in that category, you can now go buy those enchants for 10 marks of honor. Anyways, that is it for 7.3.2. So I want to quickly make a video on this because I actually had trouble myself finding these patch notes, and they still have yet to say a single word about actually releasing 7.3.2 today. As far as I know, I haven't seen anything about that. So it kind of blew my mind that they just kind of did it. And I wouldn't doubt that other people might be kind of confused about that as well. I wasn't actually sure it was 7.3.2 today until I logged in and saw the Whispers nerf. That was the big thing I was looking for. But yeah, that's it for this video. Hopefully this is actually something people wanted. I have no idea how many people actually knew it was coming or what was in it. But thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you guys next time.